So good morning students. So let's begin with today's current affairs, and now let's start with the Unacademy. As you know, Unacademy is the largest online platform in India, and it is the best online coaching for UPSC civil services. So if you want to join IAS, IPS, and Indian Foreign Service and income tax and on the top central services, then this is the best option. This is there is no job better than being an ambassador or being collector or a superintendent of police or a commissioner of income tax. So now Unacademy, they have structured batches in Hindi, in English, late night as well, and then 100% syllabus coverage, vast range of optionals, prelims test series, mains test series, dedicated doubt clearing classes, daily current practice, essay and writing. This is most important, essay and answer writing practice, because if you forcefully put your answers, then only you are going to succeed. And IAS is no 1 month, 2 month preparation. It requires 1 year, 2 year of. So let's go to the next slide now. And so UPSC civil services subscription, and the rates are so reasonable, and this is a live class environment, live polls and leaderboard, live doubt solving, live interaction. And then we are guiding you, as we are successful IAS officers. Twice we got into IPS in 81 and then IAS in 82, and so we are guiding you, and and the faculty here is top class, and you can have the personal coach and and live doubt solving, live interaction. And so if you want to subscribe and get a huge discount, apply this code VCS10. And so top faculty is here, as I told you, and this is the best online platform in the country. The technology is so advanced in the software. And so let's go to the today's news items. The Times of India. Today, as you know, Mr. Swaminathan S. A. Iyer, he has written a good article in Times of India today, and he says that don't let bad boys billionaires become bankers. So you must have seen, if you are not seen, just on the weekend you must devote some time also. So this Netflix documentary, Bad Boys Billionaire, related the lives and scandals of Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi and Subrata Roy. And all these businessmen had political contacts and illegal means of accessing thousands of crores for back finance. Just imagine what would have happened if Mallya, Modi and Roy had been allowed to own banks. So this proposal of this internal working group recommendation of allowing these big industries to own private banks, and then of course he is against that, and then he goes on to say that that most respected economists such as Raghuram Rajan, former RBI governor, then Arvind Subramaniam and Shankar Acharya, and then we have this Vijay Kelkar, who is finance secretary, ex-finance secretary, Viral Acharya, and they are very apprehensive that if the government takes up this system and the big business is allowed to own banks, then they may take loans from these banks, and therefore an independent assessment of the loan and the project viability will be lost. So this is a good thing. There can always be questions about how what is your opinion about whether this government should allow big business to open private banks. Now there are so many earlier yesterday and day before this item has been going on, and some of the articles are favoring this, provided there's some restrictions may be put, or board of directors. So it can be, let's say, the Reliance or Adani or top people, if they are allowed to own banks, then a condition may be put that they will not be allowed to loan to themselves. So this, for example, if a Reliance bank is not allowed, so then certain safeguards should be there. And because lot of development is needed and lot of credit facilities should be extended in the country, so therefore if there can be two views on this. So if we allow these big industries, then you put a rider for some time, or you have some checks and balances. But the main issue is that we are on the verge of a huge opportunity presents us, and with China is facing a lot of backlash, and the entire world wants China plus one more destination as a manufacturing hub, and India can fill this vacuum, and therefore a lot of credit is needed, and we have to a lot of investment is needed. So there can be both sides of the coin. And let's go to next item. The top Iran scientist has been assassinated, and therefore Iran has vowed to revenge, and they are raised fingers on Israel. So I think if just after the assassination, there were people in Iran only. First they must catch them, and then if they have proper evidence, then they must place before the world. So there could be some other issues and some internal issues there, and Israel and CIA may not have done this, or so they have to just on the first date, and they have not even caught the assassins. So just this is a wild guess. And one of more important items that we have is the India's prison system. So as the prison system, of course, is very bad, and not like in Western countries where even the prisons they have good facility and and good food and all that. But here in India, because of the historical reasons and because of the lack of budget, because most of the budget goes to development activities, and these prisons are comes under the non-plan expenditure, and therefore some of the facilities that should be there are not there. But now we are in such a modern century, and if basic things should be there in a prison. And we are not we are not Papua New Guinea or some Botswana. We are the third largest economy in the world, and then we want to be top. We want to do panchayat in the entire world, as we want to be in the permanent this Security Council as a permanent member. So when all these Indians who flee India and then they go to other countries, and then when we are wanting them back, and then they say that in England or in USA that our prisons do not have even fans, and you have to sleep on floor and all that. So the judges and what must be thinking. So we must at least give some basic facility. And so this is a good article about state of prisons. And one more thing is this again, the love jihad issue, interfaith marriages must be celebrated. And this is written by Sagarika Ghosh. So of course it is a good article, and this is a news about this UP ordinance. But of course these interfaith marriages must be celebrated, and if they last for, if they are for lifetime commitment, lifetime happiness, as you saw in the film Bombay that came in 90s, these interfaith marriages in the film was so successful. So, but this is not the practice here. If the thing is that if somebody hides his religion, hides his name, hides his identity, and then hides his job, if he poses as a corporate, corporate manager, and then he has a different name, and just before the marriage, if he tells his real name, his real job, which may be much lower than what he, so that the whole foundation of love was based on untruth. And then there have been cases where the girls have been forced to convert, and then there have been cases where they have been murdered. So this thing cannot be, because sachai is the main thing. Why don't you tell your real name, your real identity, or your real job? And so this debate will continue. And of course, after some years, if these marriages, interfaith marriages, are successful for the lifetime happiness and commitment, of course, even we will request UP government to take back such a draconian measure. But the things are that these gullible girls are exploited, and then suddenly one day, 2 days before the marriage, and then the boy reveals that what he was wearing, the rudraksha and mala, that's all fake. And so this thing is a continuous, this discussion should be on for our society, and this should be a lesson for all, that you can't hide your identity, you can't hide your job. So let's go to the next. In the Hindu, for example, now this is a good article about stepping out of shadow of India's malnutrition by Amartya Paul and Upasak Das. So as you are aware that so much of malnutrition is there in India, and it is called prevalence of undernourishment, POU. And so despite all our ICDS programs and BDS system, some crucial elements, the article goes on to point out that some crucial elements have been excluded. For example, let's say pulses and all which should be there have been excluded. And particularly in the rural countryside, most of the population is poor. So why limit it to very poor people? Even the ordinary people are quite poor in rural areas. So if you leave aside 10% or 20% of the top bracket, let's say people who are having more than 20 bighas, 25 bighas of land, you leave them aside. But let's say in a village, normally you have 3-4 bighas only, because of so much of population, and because the land is divided. If you have 4 sons and you have 30 bighas, then it will be divided into 4, and then again it will be divided. So if somebody is having 25 bighas, don't give him, but you have to cover them all. And if you see he's comparing India with some other, China, Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, and other countries also. So therefore, we have to be, careful. And this year's Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to United Nations World Food Programme, which should bring some of the focus back to these pressing issues of undernourishment and hunger in India. The need of the hour remains the right utilization and expansion of existing programs to ensure that we arrest at least some part of burgeoning malnutrition in the country. So this was a good program. The midday meal program that we had it started from south, as you remember, and MGR, our famous, chief minister in Tamil Nadu, he started. He must have gone abroad, in USA, Europe. When the child goes to school, he has meals there. And so he started this, and some poor people who do not get even 1 square meals a day, and the children go and have one good meal a day. That was good enough. And then in Rajasthan also we started this Antyodaya Yojana, that pulling out the lowest out of the poverty line. So these good schemes, they were formed at the state level. So that is why there was an article today, we are a parliamentary government, and but we are running the country in the presidential mode, too much of power at the level of PM and PMO. That should not be there. So we should have such a big, diverse country we are, and we should be allowed, these state governments to float, regional schemes which are, solve the problems locally. So this is a good step. And one more thing, one good article has come that India must stick to rule-based approach of regulating the internet. Now, this is also about the Chinese app. India's decision on Tuesday to block another 43 Chinese mobile applications hardly comes as a surprise. And already, we have blocked 250 Chinese mobile apps up till now, and we are, going to, we are now continuously banning much more on the grounds that they have been engaging in activities which are prejudicial to sovereign integrity of India, the defense of India, security of state and public order. And therefore, if we ban all these Chinese applications, then the local applications are getting importance. Of course, China is furious, and they may go to World Trade Organization against this. There is a dispute resolution body of the WTO, but when they go there, and then we will also place, and then the WTO body will ask the Chinese company whether you are under the government or the Communist Party can direct you. So all these things may come out. So it is not easy to win a dispute in the dispute resolution body of the World Bank, and therefore in the short run it will be useful for India to use its vast market for internet services as a leverage in its attempt to keep China in check at the border. And therefore, and we not only about the apps, already because of the bullying tactics by China and its hegemonic intentions in the South China Sea, Japan has already launched supply chain resilience initiative. So they are asking, and they are wanting some more resilience in the supply. So China plus one, and so other countries are also vying for this space. Vietnam and these Indonesia and Bangladesh. So it's a right time. We if we do for a free trade agreement with America, already the new Biden administration will be in office, and although we could not do a free trade agreement with President Trump, although Modi ji had such a good rapport with him, but it is right time that we also bend a little. We have to do free trade agreements. We have to be competitive. We can't close our borders. Already, we have to do free trade agreement with EU. Our apparel exports to EU are facing 9% duty, whereas apparel exports from Bangladesh and Vietnam, and they have 0% import duty. So then we gradually we will be at a disadvantaged position. So this is also, and the safe vaccine for India is another. Now there are so many vaccines are available, and India has now, within 2-3 months, the commercial production will start. And so now, which is the best vaccine for India? and which is, there is a vaccine which should be kept at minus 50 or minus 50. So is it possible in India to keep a vaccine at minus 50 degrees centigrade? So another vaccine you can keep at minus 5 to minus 7 degrees. That is more feasible. And then our Prime Minister also went yesterday to see the functioning of the progress of the Indian vaccine preparation. So let's say we will evaluate, and the Russian vaccine is already available, but how this thing effective that vaccine is, that is a question. So now let's go to the third paper now, the Indian Express. The Indian Express, there is an article by P. Chidambaram. He was a former finance minister of India. And the effect of low trade volumes, a current account surplus, and an appreciating rupee can be devastating on the economy. The first casualty will be jobs. The invisible macroeconomic effect will be that of scarce capital of India will be invested abroad. Imagine a developing country that is desperately in need of capital actually exporting its capital to other countries to be invested there. American business must be laughing all the way to the bank. So this is we must take advantage of the top economists we have. For example, we have two Nobel Prize winners, Nobel laureate economists in USA, Abhijit Banerjee and Amartya Sen already there, and the government is not just because they are of the left views and we are not giving them importance. The establishment is not giving importance, and we have to admit that we have we have removed a good person, Urjit Patel, as RBI governor, and brought in a yes man IAS officer. We are also IAS officers, but in certain places a specialist should be there. So if for example, who advised Modi ji for demonetization? Some person who did not know economics, and demonetization was not a total success. There was no black money. We wanted 5 lakh crore, not to be come in the banking sector. So we would print 5 lakh crores currency and then use that in the development projects, but that did not happen. So who is guiding the government? And so therefore, some real, knowledgeable people should come, and the establishment, PMO, should be able to, hear the criticism and not just hear chamchagiri. And this Chidambaram is also, he was an eminent minister, and therefore, he is also, he is, even though he is in opposition, why can't he be called for, giving suggestions? So therefore, the job challenge and, and so much of data he has given, that what should we do to revive our economy. And then in the end he says that Oxford Economics has warned us that in the next 5 years India may witness an average growth of 4.5%. It is a wake-up call. And therefore, and about the Atmanirbhar Bharat also, he did not, that has also been not a success as he claims, and the bias towards rich, that is also he's trying to, as the government is wanting these top industrialists to also bank, own a bank at the same time. So this is a good article about criticizing the existing country's policy, and therefore these articles should be cut. All the students should buy a register, and then some of the good articles should be cut and pasted, so that last moment some revision and data should be there. When you are writing a data, then you must be you must have some clear figures before you. Then again, we have this Iran supreme leader promising retaliation for nuclear scientist killing. And so US is sanctioning Russian and Chinese firms for links to Iran missile program. As you know, Iran is trying to be a nuclear power, and recently, there were so many explosions in the nuclear. Some theories that some virus was introduced in the nuclear system, and there were unexplained explosions in Tehran. And of course, they blame it on the Jewish state, but they have to arrest the culprits, and then they have to find who financed them. And one more thing is Brexit. The UK EU resumed trade talks with time running out. With the globalization, and when WTO came in 1995, people were thinking the whole world will be free from these tariffs, and it will be a free trade. But now everybody is trying to be protective. President Trump, he had trade war with China, and he worked for the protection of American industry. Similarly, he revised the NAFTA, and then he walked out of the Paris Agreement. And similarly, this Brexit is also a step away from moving away from the WTO globalization principles. They want to remain a separate entity apart from EU, and they want to have some kind of protection. So one should know also that what is Brexit, and teams from Britain and European Union resumed face-to-face talks on a post-Brexit trade security Saturday, with both sides sounding gloomy about striking agreement in the little time that remains. EU chief negotiator Michael Barnier returned to London to meet his UK counterpart David Frost. Talks have been held virtually for the past week as Barnier completed a spell of self-isolation after a member of his team tested positive for coronavirus. So this is an important thing. So, and one must be aware of the general things also. For example, we are having this Trump is refusing to move out of White House. So in a fresh blow to Trump, the US court rejects Pennsylvania election case. So he is not getting help from the judiciary. And then these Ethiopian troops begin offensive on Tigray capital. So these general, one must be aware of what is happening around the world. And now if you go to to unlock the plus experience for a free and start learning from the best. Now we have these special classes, free test series, free live quizzes, and kindly use the code VCS10 for this. As you know, the Unacademy platform is the best in the country, and the faculty is such experts have come, and so faculty is so knowledgeable. Even we IAS officers who have been successful in the careers, we guide about what to read and how to plan your time. So kindly use this code, and Unacademy Aspire, this all India free mock test for civil services aspirants, UPSC CSE Prelims paper 2, on 10th, 17th and 25th and 30th of every month. Exciting prizes and scholarship for top 50 rankers. So kindly enroll now. And then we have this T20 current affairs test series, free test series for UPSC civil service exemption. So kindly see the free series there, and then you have free learning platforms are there on the YouTube. There are free live classes and daily current affairs, UPSC civil services exam special event notification and book summary. And then on the Telegram we have free live class notifications, free PDFs and study material, daily free YouTube session updates, and UPSC Civil Service Examinations special event notifications and free test series notifications. And now if you see this 6 months batch course for UPSC Civil Service Exam Prelims starting 30th November. So this is the right time. Mission 2021 and Expedition 2021. Now, as I told you, IAS is not a 1 month preparation. This is a 1 or 2, 3 years preparation. And so it is time, if you are planning for a short, then you have to work for 1 year, 2 years, and you have to start improving your communication skills and your writing skills. And even the course is so wide, and so anything can be asked under the sun, but they ask only relevant material which is relevant to India, and therefore they will not ask any question, for example, this year about some economy of Chile, or some economy of Suriname. So it's all what is relevant. So the country is more important, what is relevant to our country, so that we know, we are the experts, what books to read, what material to, and therefore, and if you see this, now if you see UPSC Civil Services complete batch preparation starting 30th November, the Mission UPSC Civil Services Exam 2023 and Expedition UPSC 2023. So this is starting 1 year batch course, full syllabus coverage, top educators, prelims test series with analysis, PDF study material, dedicated doubt clearing sessions, interview preparation. And so we have this live class environment, live polls and leaderboard, live doubt solving, and live interaction. And if you see this, so if you enroll for 12 months and then for 24 months, the rates are so reasonable, and for 36 months you get a heavy discount. And so once again, personal coaching and live class environment, live polls and leaderboard, live doubt solving, and live interaction. And for a massive 10% discount, use the code VCS10 for UPSC Civil Service Exam. So once again, let me tell you that IAS and the civil services exams require a lot of effort and lot of preparation. And so if let's say about 10 hours of study every day, and then you have to plan accordingly. And the planning of the time is very important. There's a famous saying, one who fails to plan plans to fail. So for the dedication, how some top leaders, they turned, they was about to be defeated, and then they bought victory out of jaws of defeat. Just once on Sunday or some weekend, go to Netflix and see the movie The Darkest Hour, where the Winston Churchill he took the reins of British Empire, and at the time they were and the German were getting victory after victory, and then how he's changed and how he changed the scenario, and then you will get the motivation that so thank you for the day, and have a good day today.